We forgot to introduce this segment. White women problems, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And they offered me champagne, but it wasn't Vouv.
Do you mind doing us a little jingle for the segment for white women problems?
White women problems, they're not bad. First, can I just tell you a personal story about something that happened to me yesterday? Okay, so you know how I have do you know I have a blind masseuse?
No, I did not know that.
Okay, so in all my years in LA, I've been looking for a masseuse. I'm very picky about my massages. I never have a great time in it. I always have a complaint. And yet I still go and go and go in search of the ever elusive great massage. Well, I found one. And I found one within walking distance from my apartment. Can you believe it? Are we excited? So
we forgot to introduce this segment. White women problems, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And they offered me champagne, but it wasn't Vouv.
Do you mind doing us a little jingle for the segment for white women problems?
White women problems, they're not bad. Wait, it should be white women problems, they're not that bad.
Sponsored by what?
Sponsored by Veuve Clicquot. Champagne problems. Blind masseuse. Okay, here we go, Source Loops. You're about to hear about my blind masseuse. His name is Alan. I can't tell you where he works because I can't have everybody rushing down and stealing all my appointments. His name is Alan. So I show up to this place. It's just walking distance, so it was an ease thing. I'm like, all right, I'll try. And I go, and I'm sitting in, you know how they have like a quiet room? I don't know how often you get massages. There's like a quiet room where you sit and wait, and it's kind of dark. And there's me and another girl, and someone who works there walks in and just kind of to the room says like, Sarah, I presume? And I was like, oh yes, that's me. I put down the little book I was pretending to read because I don't know how to read. I put it down, and then I stand up and I was like, yeah, that's me. And then I walk toward him. He proceeds to put his hand on my shoulder and then let me kind of lead the way. He goes down the hall, first door on the right. And I'm like, well, this is weird. It's like he's holding on to me like he's blind. And then we get in the room, and he's like, I like to tell all of my clients that I'm legally blind. I can only see shadows. I can't see any detail. So you might as well just drop your robe in front of me, is what he said. So I did, obviously. And then I realized he wasn't blind. That's not the story. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. So we're doing sexual assault jokes now. Okay.
No, no one said he assaulted me. No, so I'm like, okay. He leaves the room. We have a totally normal, regular, consensual massage, and it was the second best massage I've ever had in my life.
The first one was the deaf guy, right?
No, you know what the first one was. Her name is Al, and she's in Thailand, and one day I will get back to you. Al.
$3 massage, by the way.
$3 massage, yeah. So, best massage I've ever had ever since I've been back. This is my third time going back. Just the best massage. I'm all in on Alan. The only thing is he is a bit of a comedian, so he likes to tell you jokes. I swear to God, I'm not making this. I couldn't make this up. I'm not that clever. He tells you like jokes he'll whisper jokes in your ear while he's massaging you.
Oh my God.
Really dumb, corny jokes, and so I have to kind of try to curtail that by not talking to him too much. Anyway, so that's the setup to the story. The real story is that yesterday I lay down on the table, and the headrest is like quite far down, so all the blood was rushing to my head, and I was like, Alan, it feels like this needs to be up a little bit. He's like, oh man, I gotta replace it. I'll be right back. He goes, he gets another headrest, and then I have to watch this man fiddle with getting this thing into the two little holes on the thing, and I'm sitting there, and I don't have any clothes on, so I can't really like get up and try to help him. He can't see, and he is struggling. He is falling into the wall. It was like a Seinfeld episode, you guys. It was, and I just felt so embarrassed and dumb, and like I would have just.
You had the blind guy go get the new headrest, and you just watched him do it?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. The worst part was
I was naked.
The worst part was he brought back a kitten. It wasn't even a new headrest.
I was sitting there watching him do this, and I was like, "This is a disaster. This is a disaster, right? Like this could not be worse." And to really add insult to injury, when he walked in, this is my third time, as I said. Do you know what I said to him? It's so good to see you.
God damn it, Sarah.
Damn it. darn it all. He said, he did say good to see you too.
Shout out to Alan, man.
What do
the
you
blind
say?
masseuse. The blind comedian masseuse.
He's very talented at massaging. The jokes, we're not everyone's that funny. I mean, I don't try to be funny.
Check out this segue attempt. Speaking of hands.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I got off on my tangent
cook food. This is your show.
of talking about my massage. Speaking of hands, talk to me.
Logline us, Sarah.
Logline us. Well, the logline is when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. Did I scare you?
Yeah, you nailed that.
What was
line.
scarier, that or how long it told me to land the plane on that massage story?
I love that story, by the way. I thought you nailed it. Do we have? Let me bring up my trailers for this.
I will start.
Please.
Trailer trash. We got some good
What'd you get?
trailers apparently for this film. We saw this, as I said, at the Grove, still packed with Barbie movie goers, all in pink. It was quite exciting.
That's enough, women.
Put a skirt back on and cook me some dinner. I had a popcorn and a Sprite masquerading as a Coke because the Grove cannot get their Coke and soda right. It tastes really bad, in case anybody was wondering.
Oh, another segment of
White people problems. What is it? Privileged women problems.
white women problems.
They're not that bad. Tell you what would have been better than the Sprite or the Coke. A little champagne in that cup. I'll tell you that for free. No, we had to be sober for this film. I was too scared. Source Loops, are you still with us, or did you leave? Did I lose you? Okay, so we got some really good previews because it was an A24 film, Assad's favorite. So we got what I'm most excited about. What I've seen it a couple times. It's called. The preview is called. We're talking about previews. I'm focusing up. I did not take my Adderall today. The movie is called Problemista. Has anyone heard of this film? Have you heard of this film, Assad? I know you saw the preview with me.
I have heard of this film, and I am very on the fence about this film. This might be very phenomenal or a walk out of it in the first 20 minutes, but please cook food.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And I know that I'm a woman, but please stop telling me to cook food. Okay. Yeah, Problemista. I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. It's about a young toy maker or aspiring toy maker who comes to New York, and his visa is about to expire, so he has to try to get someone to sponsor him for his visa, which, knowing some people who have come over here and tried to get their K-1 visas, it's quite an expensive and arduous process. So I'm really excited for the promise of this movie and seeing how it looks a little artistic and interesting in the storytelling of it. Do you know who directs that movie by any chance?
No, I do not.
You're supposed to be my film nerd.
I know. I should be looking it up right now. I got it.
But yeah, so I'm super excited about that. Now, this film was supposed to be released, I believe, this coming weekend.
Oh.
It has been delayed due to the SAG-AFTRA strike.
I wish they would stop complaining and just get back to work.
I do not wish that. I do not agree with that statement. Yeah, so it's been delayed. We don't know when we'll see it, but hopefully the strike will come to an end and everybody will leave happy. And
New segment, Sarah's strike update.
Sarah's strike update. We're still striking. I am a part of the union. I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA. And this podcast is just me talking to a camera. It's not union or non-union. It's just streaming. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. Cool. So the movie I'm least excited to see is a movie called Craven.
Oh God.
Yeesh.
I'm bull.
A movie that Assad said, you name this movie before they say the actual title of the film, and we play this game sometimes. I said Lion's Blood.
Because why?
Because in this film, it's about a kid who Russell Crowe is his dad, and that must be tough. Russell Crowe seems like he drinks a lot of beer and might be drunk at all times, and maybe that's not the best environment to raise a child on. Although if you did see our last segment, I was encouraging people to get high and watch their children, but not drink. So yeah, it's Russell Crowe, right?
Yes.
Not Russell Brand. Russell Brand's the other guy. Russell Crowe plays a mean, hardened father, and his kid gets attacked by a lion because he's too much of a chicken. Can you say shit?
Yes.
He's too much of a chicken shit to actually shoot the lion, and so the lion attacks him and then bleeds into his open wound, much like when Sleeping Beauty was asleep and her prince cried tears into her eyes, woke her up.
Is that really what happened in that show?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that. I might have made that up.
Can I bring on a point here? I hate to cut into your Craven segment here.
Yeah.
But there was an obvious, now this is the most stacked trailers I've ever gotten since we started this pod. Stacked trailers here. Got Killers of the Flower Moon, got Problemista, got Craven, or aka Lion's Blood. We have, what I thought was the clear and faraway winner was this movie called Poor Things. Now the reason that I think our fans should know, or supporters or watchers of the show, that was the clear winner, but Sarah won't admit it because she has an issue with Emma Stone. Care to expand, Sarah?
I do not have an issue with Emma Stone. Where did this come from again? Do you remember? Because I said she can't sing in La La Land?
Yes, that is it.
I also said Ryan Gosling can't sing. That doesn't mean that I don't like them. I think she's a phenomenal actress.
Okay.
She did try to play an Asian woman, but we've all forgotten that collectively, right?
We've all tried to play an Asian woman.
We've all just moved on from that. Fine, okay, we'll just forgive her.
What would you like there to happen? What do you?
Cancel her! Give all her parts to me! No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you're much better of an actress than I am. Okay, so you were most excited for, what's it called? Beautiful
Things.
Poor Things.
From the director of The Favorite. She must like Emma Stone, and I just think it's quirky enough. Like, The Favorite was phenomenal. And it seems like The Favorite on steroids a little bit. She did these very, like, distant camera angles in The Favorite and chose angles in every room to shoot from, and it looked like she's replicating that in Poor Things. So really excited for it. The only thing I'm a little worried about is that on my top 10 list of people that I don't like to see on the big screen is Mark Ruffalo.
They knew!
He's top 10 of people I struggle seeing in a movie. Whenever they pop up, I'm like, God damn it. And Mark Ruffalo seems like he has a big part in this, so it's going to be a concession stand run, I think, for me.
Why do you hate Mark Ruffalo so much?
That's my secret. I always hate Mark Ruffalo.
I'm always hating him. Is it because him and ScarJo had something special in Avengers and you are jealous?
Is she your favorite? Is she your most beautiful white woman?
I don't know that I think she's that beautiful. I think Margot Robbie's the most beautiful white woman.
Oh, so you woke up hating this morning.
I chose violence. No, I think she's got a very movie star quality, and there is definitely something about her, a je ne sais quoi. Okay. However, I don't think she's anything insane.
Okay. All right.
So,
try the trash.
Yeah. What was your least favorite?
Craven was pretty bad. Okay. I would like to see, as someone who made you go to the ArcLight theaters for Avengers Endgame and made you dress up for it, I have done a full 180, and I cannot see the demise of superhero movies happen fast enough. Get all of this shit out of here. Get DC out of here. Get MCU out of here. I don't care what kind of man you are. Iron, Bat, Super, Captain, any type of man, Marvel man. Get all of this shit out of here. I'm done, man. Now, I'm a comic book movie fan, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that I think Bop and Harvey, it was a signifying moment in film to be like, oh, man, maybe we don't need superhero tentpole movies to make people go to the theaters anymore, and I think we're finally getting to that point where I'm like, oh, good, no more superhero TV shows, no more superhero films.
What did you just say, Bop and Harvey?
Bop and Harvey.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Barbenheimer. I agree, and I was just talking about this the other day. I was hopeful, and I don't know if it was just because we saw an A24 film, but I was hopeful that I'm sensing a shift away from, I think that we've got Iron Man burnout, you know, and we're just like shifting away from that and hopefully going back to our early 2000s days that, you know, of The Talented Mr. Ripley and Good Will Hunting and, you know, other Matt Damon movies. But, you know, just movies that are original concepts that aren't existing IP that I know you love because you know what you're to expect, but hopefully this is a sign of the times that we're shifting back, the pendulum swinging back, and then hopefully that'll give them time to retool the superheroes, and in 10 more years we'll go back to some really great, exciting superhero Marvel films.
100%.
But
Couldn't
they
agree
need to
more.
take a break away from it. I do agree.
Yeah.
Okay, first thoughts. What do we think?
I think I'm gonna clear the paint for you.
Oh, okay.
Or do you want me to go first?
No, please. This is tough for me because, as you said at the beginning of the pod, I don't care for horror films. I like to be scared on roller coasters. I don't love to be scared at the movies. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't tend to love that feeling. So it's hard for me to say I liked this movie, but I will say they did a really good job of this movie. I think that it was really, really good. The concept was interesting. The directors had a clear vision, and they executed it. They took risks, and they nailed them. I heard an interview with these directors, and it's a couple of brothers from Australia, and they started off making YouTube content, and they didn't monetize their YouTube until they got to 1 million subscribers, and they just took all of that money once they monetized and put it back into their shows, and they were just really dedicated to the craft. It was really interesting. Listen, it was on, if you want to check it out, I don't know if you're interested, The Watch, I believe, talked to them. And I thought it was really cool. I thought they had a clear vision. They stuck to their guns. I thought that the lead girl was great. And they mentioned when they were talking about it that they really had to fight for her because she's an unknown actor and she's Australian, and all of that kind of goes into the marketing and the availability to kind of market it worldwide. But they stuck to their guns, and I'm really glad that they did. I thought the main girl was excellent. I thought the cast was excellent and really diverse and really interesting faces and opinions and characters that that are real life, but I haven't really seen them portrayed on the screen before. And I really, really enjoyed it. I thought they did such a great job. The runtime was 1 hour and 35 minutes. It's fun. It's paced up. I didn't feel I was nonstop nervous. I was laughing. There was a lot of moments of levity. I was touched at certain points. They talk a little bit about this girl feeling depressed and lonely, and that there was just like a couple of emotional moments that really worked for me and hit home. And yeah, I walked out, and I did not stop thinking about that movie for several days. I thought they did a really great job. Assad?
Yeah, I think for the first time in our episodes that we're pretty in agreement here on this film. A couple things that I'm a little bit of an unreliable narrator when thinking about this film, because, like you said, we don't go to these films very often. I don't see scary films. I like thrillers. And that's about as scary as I can get. This film, since It Follows, which was released, who knows, maybe 5 years ago now, 4, I don't know.
Maybe more.
Maybe even more, yeah. Was the best thriller/horror film. I don't know if they're calling this a horror film or not, that I have seen since It Follows. At no point in this film did it not have me, And I attribute that to two things. One, I don't go see these movies often, so when I'm in it, I'm like, oh shit, these are some emotions I'm having in this film that I don't normally have in a movie theater. And two, the execution of it was brilliant. And the film, this film reminded me that, there's a lot of high concept ideas that make a good film, and this is a pretty decent concept, but it's simple. It's an embalmed hand that if you touch it and say a couple words connects you to the dead. Seems simple, and there's a lot of ways to mess that story up, but these guys really killed it, man. There's a couple set pieces in a row that for about 35 minutes in this second act, they're just hitting on all cylinders. Now, naturally, these movies in the third act are hard to kind of land a plane, because in scary movies and thrillers, the motivation and the momentum of the film is working on a lot about like what's happening. And once you find out what is happening in those films, you lose a little bit of momentum in it. Mm-hmm. So it's always hard to land the plane in the third act, but they still did a fantastic job with a really gripping final scene too, by the way. So walked out being like, whoa, wishing that more films were like this one, because that genre to me is so bottom heavy. There's so many bad films about someone's possessed, someone's talking to the dead, and it's never really originated for me, but these guys utilized their craft very well to portray this story, and boy, did it have me in almost every scene.
Very well said. I completely agree. I highly recommend,
yes,
if you have a free, like I said, it's really short, couple hours, go to the movie and support, if you can. I think it's really cool. And then at the end, there was a poignant message. Do you remember when we were walking out at the top of the credits? It said, thank you for seeing this film, by watching this film in theaters. Like, you're supporting all of these people working and all
Really
of that
cool.
stuff, which I thought was really neat as
Really
someone
cool.
who, as two people who want to be filmmakers and are filmmakers, it was really cool to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I start off with my rose?
Cook food.
Okay. My rose. At one point in the film, there is a montage of all of the kids. They've already tried, as Assad explained, they have to kind of shake hands with this cadaver hand and say a couple of words, and they get to talk to the other side. And the way that they portray it in the film is that when they do it, it's kind of like fun for them and like exhilarating. So there's this montage, and the way that they chose to shoot it was so cool. It was just like the music was kicking, the editing was going fast. It was like whoop, whoop, whoop. And they're just all laughing, having a great time, doing the hand thing. It was firing on all cylinders. The point in the movie that they brought it in, it was like probably toward the end of the beginning of the second act, where it just really kicked everything into high gear, right when you're kind of starting to, for the only time in the movie when I was starting to be like, all right, let's get to it, they got to it, and they got to it in a really cool, innovative way. When have you seen a horror film with like a really fun, kicky montage where everyone's like laughing and drinking and having a great time, and they're interspersing it with these, I don't know, what would you call them? Dead people, demons, ghosts, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that part, I was like, okay, these guys really they have something here. They have a vision. They know what they're doing. They know whether, and it's different and it's new and it's fresh. And I thought it was really, really well executed. What was your rose?
That's a great choice. And that wasn't it for me, but I will piggyback on that scene, because in thrillers and scary movies like this, there's a lot of rules, and one of them in that scene that you're talking about is like, you can't have fun in a scary film without knowing what's coming next.
Right.
You're always going to pay for it, and that always makes you're just like digging into your own legs with your nails when they're having fun, because the other shoe's going to drop. But they did that scene so well, you were actually kind of having fun with them.
Yeah.
And that takes a great like craft and execution of a scene to make me depart from being like, what the hell's going to happen when you're actually having fun. Like, my rose, though, is the first time our main character touches the hand. Mm-hmm. We have no idea what to expect, and they gradually lead you up to it. And it happens so quick that in scary movies, 90% of it feels like they're slowly ramping up and building to a crescendo to do like a jump scare or a real scare. And the first time she touches this hand, she sees this apparition or this dead person in limbo, and then she undoes the hand very quickly. And that part for me, I was like, oh, we're in it. Oh, this is where this movie's going. And I thought the way they did that so simply was my favorite part of the film. What's your thorn?
That's a great point. I'd kind of forgotten about that, but they do really get you in there, and you don't see anything. You don't see her perspective. You just see her reacting to whatever she's seen.
Yes.
And she was such a compelling actress, and her eyes, she had those big eyes that kind of suck you in. And she nailed it, and they nailed it with just leaving it on her. Like, whatever she saw, it freaked her out so bad that she stopped and she got out. I don't want to see it. I'm all set. I'm all set. Let's just end the movie here. Should we just call it a day and just like everybody's happy and go home? We can go across to Barbie. There's some people in pink.
I don't want that.
So my thorn was, as you said, digging fingernails into your leg. This is a dumb thorn, but it's true for me. I can't with the gross fingernails. Do you guys remember this? There was a Saw poster where it had just those dirty fingernails that were all cracked and split and dirty and frayed. It's so gross. That was my thorn. I won't spoil anything, but there is one character that's important in the film who was clawing at wood, and so she has splinters under her nails sticking out, and they show that a couple times, and I could live the rest of my life without ever seeing that again. It was so gross. What was yours?
There wasn't, I'm just nitpicking is my thorn this time. There's a time where a character gets stabbed, where we kind of just see him again, and you're like, oh, I guess he's alive?
Yeah.
It's nitpicky, but it allowed for like 10 minutes of confusion for me, which is the only thing that bumped me outside of the movie for a while, where I wasn't in. I was like, oh, is he just okay now?
Right.
You know, because usually a film has to spell it out for you and it's like, hey, let me show you the scar of this person. You know.
So what would you rather?
Maybe they showed the scar. They had to spoon feed me that scene because I was a little confused. I'm like, are you the guy that got stabbed, man?
Well, they did say it in the setup of that scene. They said, you know, this guy got stabbed. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was going down on some Raisinets.
Disgusting. Yeah. So no, that's fair. But I think I would rather not just be a little confused, which I wasn't, by the way. That was only Assad. He must have missed it. Because when the guy got stabbed, it was pretty clear it was like kind of here.
Okay.
But,
all right.
you know, I guess that's pretty close to your heart. Okay, fair enough. So, no one's seen this film yet.
You haven't?
And in fairness, I wouldn't have either. I didn't even know it existed. So, you know, now that you do know it exists, if you like a scary film, it was fun. I thought it was really good. It wasn't very gory, so if that's your thing, you know, go seek help, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel randomly about the Exorcist trailers that have been coming out, or the Poltergeist? What is that?
Yeah,
you know,
there's
the two young girls with a big brow after they get possessed by a
I
demon?
think that's an Exorcist movie, right?
You love those, right?
No, I do not like those, and I don't understand why making little kids, like putting weird, old, decaying makeup on little kids is so creepy. Like, I'll find a new way to scare me. That's so overdone and gross, and I'm all set.
Oh, I'm really into that.
Yeah, you really like zombie kids.
I
zombie
love
children's
that,
my
yeah.
favorite. What's your favorite scary movie other than this one? This one's off the table.
I think if we're not talking about this one, there's two. I hate not to answer your question specifically, but I think It Follows is so good.
Right.
It's more for how well the film is and not for how scary it is, even though it's still scary. And then there's nothing that I've been able to match how fearful I was than the first time I walked out of Blair Witch Project.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
And it wasn't necessarily like how well the film was. It was actually how poor the film was made. And they used that, you know? It's like, damn, I had to walk to my car. And I was like, oh, I know that film was fake, I think.
It was the marketing, right?
The marketing was so good, and the fact that you don't know any of the actors, the fact that the ending was just like kind of open-ended, it just stayed in my head for a while, you know? And it gave you that feeling that someone's behind you for like a day and a half, you know?
That's what made that movie, because we had never seen anything like it, right? You had never seen a movie that was found footage like that, you know? Wait, I thought you liked that movie where it's like found footage and they pull the ghost like pulls the blanket. It's so bad. It was not
Paranormal
good
Activity is up there too for me. I remember being very, very scared when I saw it the first time.
Okay. Yeah, I thought
And then I remember seeing it showing you, and you're like, this is not scary. Even
I was
for
like,
me.
this is really bad acting.
Yeah, you were not fucking with it.
There's some really bad actors. What was the movie that you guys made me watch on Halloween with like the girl's husband was like gaslighting her?
Oh, The Notebook.
No, you know what movie I'm talking about, no?
The Stranger? No. What Lies Beneath.
Yes.
Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. Good thriller. The type of movie that's not made anymore. Great thriller, though.
Yeah, What Lies Beneath.
Yeah.
We'll call that my favorite scary movie. I like thrillers. I'm hoping that that's what we get with this return. I really liked. Remember the movie Double Jeopardy with Ashley Judd?
Yes, great thriller.
I remember like that and The Bone Collector and with Denzel and Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Movies like that, I loved growing up. It might have just been the time too, you know, like it was as I was a teenager and kind of growing up. But I thought those were so fun. Those movies were like, oh, she gets to kill him again because she already went to prison for, you know what I mean? Like it's so smart, and it's just like, whoa, that's so cool. I've never seen anything like it. Okay, accent police. Are you ready?
Oh, do we have an accent, please?
Are you ready?
Oh,
I
drop it
do
on 'em.
detect an accent, an Australian accent, a bunch of them. Thank you for being true to yourselves and just letting the Australian people be Australian.
Yes. Yes.
I thought that was great. Everybody in the filmmakers are Australian, and they cast a lot of all Australian actors and shot it in Australia, as far as I know. So really cool that they were able to do that and kind of stick to, you know, the place that they grew up with and kind of got them to where they are. Can you join me with something?
Yes, let's do it.
I'm gonna swing
From the chandelier, which is a song about suicide.
Yeah, but she's Australian too.
Is she?
Yeah,
I thought
Sia.
no one knows anything about Sia.
Sia is also from Australia. I finally got my hair to be calm, and then I had to make a joke. Yeah, no,
You
there's
didn't have to.
There's nobody asked you to make a joke, Sarah, and it wasn't even funny. Nobody liked it. Nobody was here for it. There was a scene. It was a really fun scene, and when you go see this movie, which you will go after this, where they sing that song in it, and I was like, oh, they did Sia, and
So
she's Australian. Okay, my gummy rating is 0. I urge you not to take any
perfect.
gummies when you go see this movie.
Perfect.
Don't take any gummies when you go see this movie. You'll be freaking out, man. You're already going to be a little paranoid. Just don't do it. No, it was a great movie. You don't need any gummies. You don't need to be high at all to enjoy this movie. I really enjoyed it. I do feel, as with anything, going with expectations being low. And that's, if you go and being like, oh, well, Sarah said this is going to be the best movie I've ever seen, you're going to hate it. But yeah, I think it was really entertaining. It was new. It was a fresh take on a horror film. And there was no gore, right? Very little gore.
Tiny bit. The kid beating himself up. It's a tough watch.
Spoiler alert, very tough watch.
Tough watch.
So yeah, there's a little bit of gore, but it's quick and easily digestible. Just how I like my gore, in small bites. How do you like your gore, Assad?
Small bites, yeah.
Small bites. Small bites, yeah. Small. How do you eat an elephant? They do eat an elephant in this film as well. No, they don't. I'm just talking now. All right. Any closing thoughts?
No, I just urge people that there's a big contingent of horror film fans that you guys should eat this shit up, man. From an outsider's perspective who doesn't watch a lot of horror and thriller films, just because I'm a little bit of a prude of it, I'm like, oh, that's just the same concept, and they're just going to throw a bucket of red dye somewhere for a couple scenes. Every once in a while, a movie comes along like this in the genre that really pushes the genre up a little bit, and it's not just another film that makes you squirm in your chair. It's like some thought has really gone into it with great performances, a good concept, and they executed it very well. I urge people to go see it in the theater if you can. It's kind of a smaller film, probably only playing in major cities, but I would urge you to go see it.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder, what do you think? Do you think that people who like horror films wouldn't like this movie? Because I don't like horror films, and I did like it. So I wonder if people like a certain classic, just give me the gore, give me the freakouts, give me the jump scares.
I don't know. I think our commenters are going to have to tell us, but I don't think people go to most of those movies for the buckets of blood. I think they like the concept, Oh, this doll is possessed. Oh, this Ouija board's coming to life. I think they like it for that reason.
Yeah, I'm curious. What was the It Follows? So if you are so inclined in the comment section, let us know if you saw It Follows, if you liked it, because I do think that this is kind of more on par with It Follows, as if you had to put it into a box of what kind of scary movie it is. Mm-hmm. It's not like, jump scare after jump scare after jump scare and gore and ooze and whatever, but it was thrilling. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. So I'm interested to see if you are a horror film, if you liked this movie. If you are not a horror film, if you liked this movie, let us know what you thought. And we're going to be back. We reviewed a bunch of films this weekend, so stay tuned. Tune back in to hear about Haunted Mansion.